welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, and welcome to a video that is going to have many different sides, because obviously we're going to be reacting to yesterday's defeat against Monaco, some of the mistakes that you may or may not have seen. There are still things that we've got to discuss from the game, but it is not all going to be doom and gloom. Let me just say that right here and now. What we're going to try and do today is pick ourselves back up, dust ourselves down, and move forward there. And we're going to be relying on Hansi Flick to help us do that. He spoke excellently, I thought, after the game. We're going to be going through those quotes today, and it is all on the way for you. So come on, and let's do this. Because even despite the tough defeat last night, we still had plenty of really fantastic super thanks coming in. Really do appreciate that, guys. Big shout out here to Kenneth. We also had one coming in from Switzerland. We're going to be talking maybe in the international break about a few of the goalkeeping options that we may have. And there was also one super thanks here. Now look, I welcome all feedback. I take it all on board. And this one here says, look, be more professional. But on this, guys, I do just want to say right here and now, I am a fan, just like every single one of you. I'm not a TV pundit. I'm not going to be impartial about the situation. I've got the same feelings that all of you have right now. And that is why, in the good times, we're all together. We are feeling the same way. And in the bad times, we are just as close. And that's all that I ever wanted. When I created this channel here, it wasn't about becoming really big. It wasn't about having loads of subscribers or anything like that. All that I wanted to achieve was to create a community whereby no matter where you are in the world, no matter whether we're winning, whether we're losing, the highs, the lows, you can be part of a community here that goes through every single emotion just like you do, and we are all right beside each other. So that's all that I wanted to achieve with the channel here. So obviously, professional or not, whether I'm saying the right things or not, I'm just speaking from the heart, and these are pure emotions coming out about the team we all love. Which brings me nicely on to some of the big emotions from last night. Now, I accept I was very angry after the game. It was probably close to the angriest I've ever been on the channel. I really did feel yesterday so disappointed, so frustrated with the way that everything played out. And of course, we have to talk again about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. It's not all going to be about him. We're going to be talking about lots of other stuff today. I just want to get a few things here off my chest on this situation, because number one, it's not just about the mistake here. The fact that obviously he plays a pass that he should never do into that position there, that's the big mistake. That is the crucial moment where the game went away from us. But I also think, guys, as a goalkeeper, and certainly here as the Barcelona goalkeeper, you've also got to understand the situation, because looking at that there, you're not passing to prime Sergio Busquets in that area. You're passing to Eric García. Now, this is a guy that had been drafted in for this game as a makeshift pivot. So the very last thing that Ter Stegen should be thinking here is, I'm going to put him in that position. I am going to make sure that he is under enormous pressure from behind him. Monaco are swarming around him. Let me put him in danger. He should know to never have ever played that ball when he's got two perfectly good options either side of him there. So he should have read all of that much better. But what absolutely astounded me was what he said after the game. Marc-Andre Ter Stegen there came after the game. He was asked, of course, about that moment, about the red card, and I could not believe what he had to say. He said we didn't understand each other well in that situation. He said, I feel bad for Eric, it hurts him, and then we played 80 minutes with one less player. He said, but well, we just didn't really understand each other. It's something that shouldn't happen, but these things can happen in football, and the defeat hurt us. And I am just staggered. What's he talking about we? What's he talking about us in this scenario there? How can you not take responsibility for that mistake there? Because not only was it your mistake, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, there's no we about it. You and you alone decided to play a pass into the worst area possible. But it's not only about that either. That's not really my problem with those words, because you know why I'd expect Ter Stegen to maybe take on some responsibility, maybe show some ownership? He's the captain. He is the Barcelona captain. To come out after the game there and basically say, oh, well, we didn't really understand each other. Yeah, I feel bad for Eric García. Talk about you. Take some responsibility at the very least in this situation. And you know what, guys? The reason why so many of us here were and are still very angry about yesterday, about the defeat, about the way that it happened, it's because they're the same feelings. We are tired of repeating this cycle year upon year upon year in the Champions League. We can't take it anymore because it feels exactly the same as last season, as our last game in the Champions League before this one. PSG, it is like reliving that nightmare all over again, whereby we had the opportunity to do something special, the feelings were good, momentum was building, and bang, we shoot ourselves in the foot. We are the ones who are hurting our own chances. It's not about opposition here blowing us away. It's not about Monaco yesterday being by far the better team, 11 versus 11. This is about individual errors, individual mistakes, which continue to haunt us. Because all we got was 10 minutes. That is all we got yesterday, guys, of Hansi Flick's Barca in the Champions League. And that's all we were allowed, to feel excited, to feel hopeful. And once you're down to 10, the game's gone. It's simply about survival. It's about hanging in there, looking for a lucky break, waiting for a moment of magic. You know, we tried our absolute best. I do believe yesterday the players fought every single minute. They tried to hang in there. They tried to get something out of the game. And they also, to their credit, really did limit the damage that we actually suffered on the night. You know, I can't doubt here the fact that Barca really did give it their all. And I did think we showed more steel, maybe, than we have done in the past. That is something there that is worth pointing out. And it is frustrating, guys, because I truly believe that if it wasn't for the red card, even despite Monaco being a good team, they showed lots of quality last night, but if it wasn't for that moment, I believe the outcome would have been very, very different in this match. But look, despite what happened last night, despite the fact here that we are very frustrated by the defeat, I've still got a huge amount of faith in this team right now, especially under the leadership of Hansi Flick. And it's about his words from last night that we're going to go on to talk about now. They only give me more optimism, and it only reinforces in my mind that he is exactly the kind of coach that we need. He is exactly the kind of character to help take us forward. Because I think, guys, as much as the 5 wins in a row were amazing coming into this game. Obviously they were. The feeling there was absolutely amazing. It's all we could ask for as fans. And honestly, I hope that we can get that back. I hope we can recapture that momentum very, very soon. But at the same time, we always knew in the back of our mind that at some point in a very long season, so many competitions, you know a setback is going to come. You know that as a team, as individuals here, you are going to have moments that you need to overcome and that you need to prove that you can overcome. Because I think, guys, if you're a team here competing at the top level, if you can't overcome adversity, if you can't bounce back after a setback, you can't do anything. You won't achieve anything here in the game. So I think here, what we've got to do now is use a defeat like this. You know, we didn't want it to happen. We're very sad that it did happen. But now that it has, let's own it. Let's take that responsibility. Let's take some ownership here and think, you know what? In the long run this season, over the course of this long campaign to come, let's use this for good. Let's make sure we take something here, some lesson from this game, and use it to move forward. And I think this is going to give us now an even better idea of what Hansi Flick can do and exactly what kind of coach he is to bring us back from this. Because I do believe, guys, that Hansi Flick's words after the game were incredibly honest and honestly very reassuring to hear from the Barca coach. He said the game changed after the red card. After only 10 minutes of the game, what it did is that it caused us to change our idea and our planning for the match. He said we tried at all times and we defended with passion, but we did make some mistakes. He said we had our chances, but in the end, they brought on fast players, and he admitted Monaco deserved to win the game. He held his hands up and said, look, Monaco, they deserve the win. He said we did not play at our highest level or how we wanted to play, but we've got to accept that. And I did still see many positive aspects of the game. So what I like here about Flick already, he's not blaming anything. You know, he's saying after the red card, the game changed. But look, we're not disputing the decision. We're not disputing here the fact that Monaco, on the night, given the way the game went, they deserve the win. We can't argue with that either. And he said there was disappointment in the dressing room. But now we must recover for Sunday. He said, I've told them that, yeah, we lost, okay, but now we've got to come back stronger. Now we have to recover our energy. We've got a big game in La Liga on Sunday, and we have to give our best. We've got to fight for the team, and that is what we will continue to do. And I also love that attitude there from Hansi Flick, because in the dressing room, I'm sure the players were disappointed. They did give it their all. I'm sure they felt quite empty at the end of the match. But that's the thing right now. We can't afford to sit around feeling sorry for ourselves. We can't afford here to let our heads drop for any amount of time because the games aren't stopping. You know, we've got a very important game, as Flick says there, in just a few days' time. And after that, we've got another one. And after that, we've got another one. We have to make sure here that we bounce back, and we do it immediately. Let's show our quality. Let's show here the character that we have. And certainly they're looking ahead to that game on Sunday. Is Lamine Yamal going to be okay? Because Flick said that Lamine tried very, very hard during the game. It was a difficult match, and you've got to adapt to these situations. But he said the substitution there of Lamine and Pau Kubasi, that was more thinking about Sunday. They were very tired, but not believed to have any injury problems there. So that's really, really good news, of course. Lamine and Pau both came off, but they should both be okay for Sunday. But what about Marc García? He also suffered there what seemed to be a bit of a knock during the game against Monaco, and I actually thought that García, given the circumstances, was one of our best players on the field yesterday. He gave you absolutely everything. He was everywhere again, trying his best to sort of make up for being one man down. And luckily, after the game there, Hansi Flick did confirm that it was only a knock for Marc García, that he's not suffering right now with anything more, and that he also should be fine for the game at the weekend. And I just want to say, guys, make no mistake here, one of the big positives on the night, you've got to say, the return of Ansu Fati. He was subbed on there in the 88th minute of the game. Now, obviously, it wasn't the kind of circumstances he or we would have liked, because Flick actually spoke before the game saying that, look, Ansu was ready. He could play half an hour, he could even play half a game if needed, but obviously it didn't really work out in that way in the end. But I think, look, it's great to have him back. It's great to have him available in the team again. I think that he can be a great option for us, and the more forward options, the better right now for Flick at Barça, because he said, I've spoken a lot with Ansu Fati, he sees himself as more of a left winger, but he also has great qualities to play in the centre as well, and he said, I've seen him perform brilliantly in training, and now he needs time, and we have to make sure that we look after him as well. So Flick there, optimistic about Ansu, great to have him back in this team, and I think the overall message here that I would take away here, especially with everything that Flick had to say, he made sure to emphasise here and almost reassure us fans. He said we are strong enough to still have a great Champions League. He said, we've still got 7 matches ahead of us, and I believe that we will win many matches there. Flick is still full of confidence, full of belief in his players. We've got lots of games left to make sure that, of course, in the Champions League, we're in those qualification places, because it is a much bigger format now. There is actually more margin for error than ever in the Champions League to make it through to some sort of knockout football. And also do just remember, guys, and this may be vital come the end of it, that in the new format, goal difference, it is key. So I think last night Barca digging in, making sure here that they did limit the damage, making sure here that they fought no matter what to keep that scoreline down. It could be big in the end. It could be vital for us to move forward. But for sure, 7 big Champions League games to come. We need to target all of the points. Let's target the whole lot. Because what I am searching for here still is a statement that we are still waiting to send out. So that there, guys, is plenty more reaction to what we saw from Barça versus Monaco on Thursday night. And what I would like to know in the comments down below is, how are you feeling today? You know, the day after the game, lots of the emotions still flying around, of course, but now we have to just try and put it behind us, you know, learn our lessons, move forward with the knowledge that we've gained from this defeat. But we do have a big game on Sunday. We do have to keep making sure here that the heads stay up and that we do not let our focus drop. So let me know, guys, in the comments down below. How are you feeling today? What are your thoughts after Barca's defeat against Monaco? And ahead of Sunday, what are you looking for from the team? And of course, guys, we will be building up to the game on Sunday very, very soon indeed. The videos, they won't be stopping because luckily, I have not been sent off. At least not yet anyway, guys. Thank you for all of your great support. Let's try and keep our spirits up, because until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça.